Hi friends, I'm Dr. Zainab Vora.
Hi friends, I am Dr. Apurv Mehra.
So today we are going to be discussing about eConceptual. So Apurv sir, how did you come up with this idea of venturing into residency, something that was unheard of? Everybody was focusing on NEET PG prep and there was nobody who was actually training residents. So how did you come up with the idea of building something like eConceptual, which has now become into a very big brand for every resident in this country?
Yeah, so Zainab, there are three things that go into my brain when I talk about this. Number one, I have been very fortunate that I had fantastic teachers to hold my hands and teach me clinical science of orthopedics. Where I realized that if you have the right guidance during residency, it makes a huge difference into every branch, specifically into orthopedics being a surgical branch. I thought of only conceptual orthopedics and I kept on talking to my teachers for 3 to 4 years. I was explaining them that we'll teach online, we will discuss scenarios, we will discuss surgeries, we'll discuss concepts, we'll teach them examination. But for all my teachers who were very senior, this was very difficult to explain them, but it just took me 3 to 4 years. I started this in 2016-17 and then in 2019 end, right? My teacher, Professor Sudhir Kumar sir, Professor SM Tuli sir, right? They agreed for it finally. And the only problem was how to bridge this gap of experience into technology and how to make them speak on the screen, because they could teach 1,000 students live, but they were not used to teaching on an iPad or a MacBook and in front of the camera, because this is very difficult, it is more exhausting and there's no response from the audience. But then, I was wrong, when they came for the first time, I thought they are more naturally built to it because they had handled their lives in less resources as compared to us. So they could handle more resources with ease. कम में आपको पता होता है ना कि कैसे करना है. So they had too much. So this is one thing. Then the point why this came into being, there was always a big question. One entrance exam, and if you don't do it well, your fate is sealed. You might still get up the branch, you will not get the college, and you will not get the teachers. So I wanted to build up something that in our country there should be a level playing ground for everybody. And one NEET exam or one INI-CT should not take the claim. He has got MAMC, he's got AIMS, so he has a chance of becoming a better clinician because the best clinicians are there. So what I went in, I spoke to all the top teachers of the country. I personally visited them. I requested them, let us all build something. So my line was that the aim is not to live forever. The aim is to create something can. So this was the thought. And you know what I did, Zainab? Initially, I wrote a line to Harsha Bhogle when I saw all these teachers. So I wrote a mail to Harsha Bhogle and I wrote this line to Mr. Harsha Bhogle that he spoke about Sachin Tendulkar once, right? With a touch of class, with a stamp of authority for his straight drive. He used to say that even a projector cannot draw a straight line and straight drive could. And I said, can I use this on my website of conceptual orthopedics? And you won't believe, the great Harsha Bhogle, he responded in a second, yes, you can. And this is what it was. All the teachers which we had a touch of class and a stamp of authority. They could show you clinical science, which we could not make out. So we thought this was not there, and now it has suddenly come, and it used to happen with us. So Sherlock Holmes' line thi na, it's not invisible, it's unseen. So they could show us this, and this is how I thought that why not to take it to everybody in the country as an orthopedic surgeon? Because finally, when we leave this world, we will leave medical education to the next generation. They are 60 years, 70 or 80 year individual. Why not to give it to the right person at the right time, to a budding orthopedic surgeon? And that is how the thought was. सबको सिखाना है, सबको पढ़ाना है. I was trying to solve this question. पढ़ाए कौन? So I got the best teachers because fortunately I was being taught by these teachers and I knew what Professor Kumar, Professor Dhalwar. So I could approach them and request them for this. And this is how conceptual came. The name conceptual, my teacher Professor Kumar said, I was speaking about different names, but he said conceptual word will click because this is a common name. You know what example he gave? He had watched that movie Founders, and in that he said, McDonald's is a name you can put anywhere. Yeah. So he said conceptual is a name you can put anywhere in medical science, this will always click. So that's how conceptual orthopedics click.
And now it signifies a lot more than how it started, and there are so many other branches that we've expanded to with the same vision. The vision remains the same, that you bridge the gap, and the college that you are in should not determine the kind of clinician that you become. So I think that vision expands across the fields. So what next, sir? What do you see?
Yeah, so now we are going to the hybrid mode.
Yeah.
As I'll take your example. You said BTR is an online mode, but BTR offline is something where you come in touch with physical and there is surrounding.
Yes.
And also in medical science, what you can do offline, you can't do online. There's some limitations of online. One of this is there are clinical signs. Second point is once we meet together, there's a different stimulus that happens. जो कहते नहीं है, a lot can happen over coffee, so a lot can happen over the physical company. So we are making a center where the students can come, and being into surgical branches, we need to have saw wounds, we need to have instruments in orthopedics where we can have demonstrations. Similarly, in conceptual radiology, we'll have workshops. In anesthesia, we'll have workshops. So there will be a future where all the residents of the country will have an online education, will come and interact with their teachers offline, and when we go back and will continue education like this. So the aim is to have a hybrid model like you have built beautifully for BTR. This is what is the aim. Second is the stimulating lectures online, which is almost every day happening for the last 4 years. Third is to train people for MCQs, because this is my question nowadays. People want to relate everything to an exam in the country. So this is what we are doing, and we are trying to homogenize this to different branches, spread across all 19 subjects in medical science. This is what is the aim here.
Awesome. So I think we are going towards a hybrid mode, and we had a CO offline course recently, and I met Tuli sir there, and I used to read Middle Path Regimen when we were students, and to see him in person and the kind of passion that he has, and the students getting a chance to interact with the giants of this field, I think that was beautiful to see. So I think it's a great effort to bring everything together, and there is one man who is doing everything yet is always behind and not on the forefront is you. So this all started with a vision in your brain, and now it has reached this stage. So now after this point, how do you want to expand? Which other branches are you looking at which are coming up in the pipeline?
So Zainab, conceptual, I don't think so. It's just my vision, it's evolving. I'll explain how. When we developed orthopedics, my thought was that the teachers will teach. Then we came to surgery. Teachers will teach how to operate. We started with clinical science, it went to surgical branch.
Yeah.
Then we came to anesthesia.
Yeah.
It came out with a different thought, how to build up gate notes and how to interact with the students on the social media. While we were doing all this, we were building lectures and we were doing online. But what you did was, you came with a daily single lecture. Yeah. So I think the vision is changing. There are different ways conceptual has. We build up on the recorded lectures plus online live daily. Then came the surgical things from the OT relay. Then came the different social media platforms to interact with the MCQ sessions being held by Dr. Janvi. But you killed it all. You came suddenly and said, "मैं daily एक lecture पढ़ाऊंगी sir." And I thought, Zainab, हमने तो हर एक में इतने lecture record किए थे, but I think this makes more sense, not to overburden the brain. And now we are coming with Gynae Ops, where Dr. Rana ma'am and different teachers, we have a group of more than 10 teachers already building it up, which we are releasing on 2nd April, which happens to be the anniversary of conceptual and cerebellum both. Yeah. Right? So it's the same date. I chose this date for both because 2nd April 2011, India won the World Cup. It was very simple for me. I had no doubt on this. Or 1st April ko karte to log mante nahi. All right. Now what we are doing is, we are doing the skill lab thing. So she's going with the dummies and demonstrating. And she's with the enthusiasm, and then we are going to prepare you for the exams abroad. This is what the aim is. Psychiatry has been released by Dr. Praveen Tripathi and is doing beautifully. So these are the branches which are already there. And yes, two things which I believe, which you are also actively involved into, is we'll come up with medicine and peds almost together. And I think the biggest project, just like eConceptual has got so many branches, but one big thing which is going to come very soon is conceptual physiotherapy, which itself is an entire different game. बहुत ही अलग है, and we have almost recorded 400 lectures of it. We have been doing it for last 2 years, and that's around the corner. So that's in 2024. And good thing is now with you being in the center of it, you trying to create things for all of us is making a difference. And अब Zainab तुम दोस्त लेके आ रही हो अपने जो पढ़ा रहे हैं, so that makes it easy. And also I would like to say here, I have been very blessed. In this entire journey, it started with my teachers, then came my students into it, and my friends into it. So I thought of this with Dr. Harpreet, Dr. Ashi, Dr. Saurabh, who are my very close friends. Conceptual surgery, we had Dr. Minal Pava, Vivek Verma, and Dr. Vivek Bindal coming and joining hands, and Dr. Anurag. Conceptual anesthesia came Janvi. Surgery then joined Amrit. With Janvi coming out, Amrit also joined, and they are holding the fronts beautifully. With further going up, Zainab, with radiology, you coming up, And obviously, wherever you and me are there, Ravi automatically is there with us. All right, he's there to guide us. He's not actively into it, but his guidance itself is a huge thing. We have seen him during the offline programs, you know. So I am very fortunate. दोस्त भी हैं, friends भी हैं, right? परिवार भी है, all right, और teachers भी हैं. और plus you have seen the entire team working. मतलब यहाँ एक ऐसा garden है, बगीचा है, जहाँ पर सब लोग बड़े खुश होकर खेल सकते हैं. You know, this is what my dream was कि एक जगह ऐसी हो जहाँ पर हम पढ़ाएं और हम सिर्फ एक ही बात के बारे में सोचें that the learning never ends. Let's talk about ideas for education. Psychiatry, Praveen is doing it. So almost friends are there. And you know, I will like to contribute. मैंने डॉक्टर विवेक सर को बोला, विवेक सर हमें रिसर्च के बायोस्टैट्स के लेक्चर चाहिए. This came from one of the lectures that you took on research. He said कल तक आ जाएंगे. And next morning he gave us 8 lectures which are there in biostats everywhere. I spoke to Dr. Gobind sir कि सर anesthesia के लिए कुछ लेक्चर चाहिए. And you know how he is. गोगा भाई, I got it. So it's so easy, you know. The whole system is so beautiful. We are blessed that it's growing very strong with friends, family, students, and teachers. This is what I see.
So basically it's a team which is very solid now in place, and that makes it pretty organic to expand. So that is how eConceptual is evolving, and you know, it's evolving beautifully. And the aim, I think, for all of us is for it to become a one-stop shop for every resident. You know, whatever is it that you require for your preparation, whether it is a foreign exam that you have to give, whether it is our Indian exit exams that we have, or it's just your lifelong clinical training, you know, we want this to be the place where you get that knowledge from. So that, I think, is the wholesome vision across all of the branches that we are developing.
Absolutely, yes.
So, sir, final closing words.
The closing word is that we are building an offline center, which will be like a Nishan Sahib, like in Gurdwaras you go, there's a Nishan Sahib that tells. And that's going to be the Nishan Sahib for Conceptual, where I believe that every resident in his life or her life will come at least once. And I think there will be many more interesting things at that place, which we will disclose over time, where Zainab will be more eager to tell than I am. And this is all I wanted to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you.